I never thought parallel parking would lead to her whispering, inches from my ear, "I can't be your instructor anymore." I should have asked why, should have switched schools, passed my test somewhere else, and never looked back. But her eyes held something I'd been missing for years, danger wrapped in possibility. So I stayed. That decision would cost me everything I'd built. And I'd make it again. The clutch pedal stuck halfway down. Of course it did. I'd been taking lessons for 6 weeks, and every session with Diana felt like the car was conspiring against me or for her. "Easy," she said, hand hovering near mine on the gear shift. "Feel the friction point. Don't force it." Her voice was low and textured, like aged whiskey. Every word felt deliberate. I was 29 years old, had driven tractors on my uncle's farm since I was 14, but somehow, this woman made me forget how internal combustion worked. The car lurched. Stalled. "Third time this hour." "Sorry," I muttered. "Don't apologize. Tension makes it worse." She leaned closer, adjusting my hand position. Her fingers were cool against mine. "Relax your grip. You're strangling it." I wasn't strangling the gear shift. I was trying not to notice that her perfume, something dark and expensive, maybe sandalwood, was making the small car feel even smaller. That silver threaded through her dark hair in a way that looked intentional, elegant, that she had laugh lines around her eyes that suggested she'd lived a life worth laughing about. My ex, Emma, used to say I was too predictable. Left me for a guy who proposed after 3 weeks. My mom called it dodging a bullet. My friends called me boring. I called it smart. Safe. Alone. Diana Chen wasn't safe. She was 47 years old, according to her instructor license on the dashboard. Owned this driving school. Taught defensive driving courses to executives. Had probably seen 1,000 nervous students exactly like me. Except I wasn't nervous about the driving. "Try again," she said, sitting back. "And breathe. I can hear you holding your breath." I released air I didn't know I was trapping. Started the car. This time, the clutch cooperated. I eased into first gear, pulled into traffic. The downtown streets were emptying 8 p.m. on a Thursday, everyone heading home. I should have been heading home too. "Better," Diana said, making a note on her tablet. "You're overthinking. Stop treating the car like it's going to betray you." "What if it does?" She smiled. Not polite. Knowing. "Then you adjust." That's what driving is. Constant adjustment to things you can't control. We practiced 3-point turns in a parking garage for another 30 minutes. Under fluorescent lights, with concrete pillars and echoing sounds, it felt clinical, professional, the way it should feel. Then she said, "Let's try something different." Different how? Night driving. Real conditions. Most accidents happen after dark, but no one practices for it. She glanced at her watch, a simple silver band. "No wedding ring. If you're free." I should have said I had plans. Should have invented a girlfriend waiting at home, a dog that needed walking, literally anything. Instead, I heard myself say, "I'm free." "Good. Head toward the highway. We'll practice merging in low visibility." The city looked different at night. Neon reflections on wet asphalt, headlights like searchlights, everything sharper, more dangerous. Diana directed me onto the I-94 on-ramp. "Speed up. Don't be timid. Timid gets you killed." I accelerated. Merged. The highway opened up ahead, nearly empty. This late? It was just us and long-haul truckers. "How long have you been teaching?" I asked, trying to fill the silence that felt too comfortable. 15 years. Started after my divorce." She said it casually, like mentioning the weather. Teaching people to control a machine because I couldn't control my marriage. I didn't know what to say to that. The honesty felt like a test. "What about you?" she asked. "Why'd you wait until 29 to learn to drive?" "Had a license. Let it expire. Didn't need it in the city." I paused, and I was afraid. Of driving? Of being bad at something? Of failing? The words came out before I could stop them. My ex said I never took risks, that I was too comfortable being mediocre. Diana was quiet for a moment. Then, "Take the next exit. There's a service road I want to show you." The service road was dark, no streetlights, just the car's headlights cutting through blackness and the distant glow of the city behind us. "Pull over here," she said. I did. Put the car in neutral. Waited. She turned in her seat to face me. "You want to know what I see? A guy who shows up on time, listens, doesn't make excuses. Someone who's harder on himself than anyone else could be. That's not mediocrity. That's discipline. Or fear, I said. Sometimes they're the same thing. Her eyes caught the dashboard light. Dark brown, almost black. Sometimes fear keeps you safe. Sometimes it keeps you small. You have to decide which one you're living with. The space between us hummed. I could hear her breathing. Could smell that sandalwood perfume mixing with the leather seats and night air through the vents. What would you choose? I asked. She smiled. Sad. Maybe. I chose safe for 20 years. Married the right guy. Built the right career. Checked every box. And I was miserable. So now I choose interesting, dangerous, alive. Is that why you teach driving? I asked. Because it's dangerous? No, she said quietly. I teach driving because it's honest. You can't fake it. You either control the car or you don't. There's no middle ground. She held my gaze for 3 heartbeats, 4, then looked away. We should head back. This was unprofessional of me. What was? This. Talking like this. Bringing you out here. She gripped the steering wheel, though. We weren't moving. I'm your instructor. There are boundaries. The word hung between us. Boundaries. What if I don't want boundaries? I asked. She closed her eyes. That's exactly why we need them. We drove back in silence. When she dropped me off at the school parking lot where my bike was locked, she didn't look at me. See you next week, she said. Deanna. Next week? David? That's all I can do right now. I didn't sleep that night. Replayed every word, every look, every moment her hand had brushed mine. The way she'd looked at me in the dark, the way she'd pulled away. Friday morning, my phone rang. Diana's number. I can't be your instructor anymore, she said without preamble. My heart stopped. What? Why? Because I'm developing feelings that are inappropriate for a teacher-student relationship, and I can't do my job ethically if I'm compromised. Feelings? Don't make me say it, David. Please. Her voice cracked. I don't want Mike. I know. But this is the right thing. The only thing. If we're going to be anything other than teacher and student, we have to stop being teacher and student first. She was right. I hated that she was right. When? I asked. Your next lesson? Monday. With Mike. Long pause. After that, if you still want to see me, not as your instructor, call me, we'll figure it out. And if I don't call? She laughed, sad. Then you'll have learned to drive, and I'll have done my job. She hung up. I stared at my phone for 5 full minutes. Then I looked up Mike's reviews online. 4.8 stars, patient instructor. Got me through my test first try. No nonsense approach. Perfect. Exactly what I needed. Except it wasn't what I wanted. Mike was 40-something, ex-military, competent. Our first lesson was Monday at 6 p.m. He picked me up in the same school car Diana had used. It smelled different. Chemical air freshener instead of sandalwood. Diana says you're almost ready for the test, Mike said, adjusting his seatbelt. Let's see what you've got. Highway first. Merge onto I-94. I drove. He watched. Made notes on his tablet. Corrected my blind spot checks. Reminded me to signal earlier. Everything by the book. Professional. Distant. Exactly what driving lessons should be. You're good, he said after an hour. Little nervous on the lane changes, but solid. We'll do parallel parking next time. Emergency stops? Then you're ready. How many more lessons? I asked. 3, maybe 4, depends on you. 4 lessons. Maybe 5 weeks total. Then I could call Diana. Then the boundaries would be gone. Let's make it 3, I said. Mike raised an eyebrow. Confident. I like it. But don't rush. The test isn't going anywhere. But I was. I was going somewhere. Towards something I couldn't name yet, but desperately wanted. That night, I texted Diana. First lesson with Mike done. He's good. She replied an hour later. I'm glad. How do you feel? Like I'm learning to drive from a textbook instead of a person. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. That's probably better. Less distraction. I don't want less distraction. I deleted it. Typed. When can I see you? Not as my instructor. After you pass your test. When there's no conflict of interest, no power dynamic, just us. That could be weeks. 5 weeks, if Mike's timeline is right. I've waited 15 years to feel something real again. I can wait 5 more weeks. I stared at that text for a long time. She felt something real. She'd said it. I can wait, I typed back. But I don't want to. Neither do I. But we're going to. Because this is worth doing right. The next 5 weeks were the longest of my life. I saw Mike twice a week. Practiced parallel parking until I could do it in my sleep. Mastered highway merging. Emergency stops. 3-point turns. Mike said I was ready by week 4. You could take the test now, he said. But there's a 2-week wait for appointments. Unless you want to drive to the suburbs, I'll wait, I said. Suit yourself? You're ready when you are? I scheduled the test for exactly 5 weeks and 2 days after Diana had transferred me. Wednesday, 2 p.m. I didn't tell her. Didn't want to jinx it. But Tuesday night, she texted, "Good luck tomorrow. You've got this." My heart stopped. How did you know? Mike told me. He's proud of you. So am I. And after? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Coffee. Same place we talked about. 7 p.m. tomorrow. If you still want to, I want to. Even after 5 weeks? Maybe you've changed your mind. Not even close. We'll see. The test was easy. The examiner was a woman in her 60s who smelled like menthol cigarettes and looked bored. She had me parallel park between 2 cones, merge onto the highway, execute an emergency stop, 20 minutes total. You pass, she said, signing the paper. License will arrive in 2 weeks. This is your temporary. I took the paper, stared at it. 5 weeks of waiting, compressed into 20 minutes of driving. Congratulations, she said, not sounding congratulatory at all. I texted Diana from the parking lot. Passed. She replied immediately. I knew you would. See you tonight. The diner was 50 miles outside the city. Same place we'd talked about during those late-night text conversations. Far enough that no one we knew would see us. I arrived at 6:45. She was already there, sitting in a corner booth. She stood when I walked in. She'd changed clothes. Jeans instead of her usual slacks. A dark green sweater that made her eyes look almost black. Her hair was down. I'd only ever seen it up. You passed, she said. I held up the temporary license. Clean sheet. She smiled. Really smiled. For the first time in 5 weeks. So, I said, sliding into the booth. No more teacher-student. No more conflict of interest. No more boundaries. There are always boundaries, she said. Just different ones now. Like what? Like my daughter, who's 26. Almost your age. Like your family. Like the fact that everyone will judge us. Let them judge. Easy to say. Harder to live with. She took a breath. I'm 47 years old. You're 29. People will assume things. That I'm desperate. That you have issues. That this is a mistake. Is it? She looked at me. Through me. I don't know yet. But I want to find out. I reached across the table. Took her hand. Then let's find out. You might regret this. I regret a lot of things. Safe choices. Boring decisions. Playing it careful. This isn't one of them. You don't know that yet. No. But I want to find out. She squeezed my hand. Okay. Let's be reckless together. We started dating. Real dating. No lessons. No power imbalance. Just 2 people trying to figure out if this was real or just the thrill of something forbidden finally allowed. Those first few weeks were electric. We met at diners far from town, talking until waitresses gave us pointed looks about the check. Diana would tell me about her marriage, how she'd married her college boyfriend because it seemed like the next logical step, how they'd grown into strangers sharing a mortgage. I told her about Emma, about the proposal I'd been planning before she left, about the ring still sitting in my sock drawer. Why haven't you returned it? Diana asked one afternoon. Stirring sugar into coffee neither of us was drinking. Same reason you still have your wedding photos in a box instead of throwing them out. Evidence that we tried. That we weren't always this version of ourselves. She reached across the table, took my hand. I like this version of you. You don't know this version. You only know the guy who can't parallel park. Could. Past tense. Mike says you're excellent now. She squeezed my hand. I know you bite your thumbnail when you're nervous. I know you apologize too much. I know you overthink every decision and second-guess every choice. I know you're brave enough to be here. That counts for something. 3 weeks after my test, she invited me to her apartment. Just dinner, she said. I'll cook. We'll talk. Normal date things. Normal. As if anything about this was normal. Her apartment was on the 15th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown. Minimalist furniture. Expensive art. Everything about it screamed success, independence, a life fully formed. I felt like a kid playing dress-up. Wine? She asked, already pouring. Sure. We sat on the couch. Not the chairs. Already breaking invisible rules, even though the professional ones were gone. She'd made pasta carbonara, creamy and perfect. We ate on the couch, plates balanced on knees, talking about everything except the elephant in the room. She told me about the first car she'd ever owned, a beat-up Honda Civic that died on the freeway 3 times. I told her about learning to drive tractors, how my uncle would let me steer even though my feet barely reached the pedals. It felt normal, easy, like we'd been doing this for years instead of weeks. Then my phone rang. I glanced at it. My sister. You should answer, Diana said. I declined the call. It can wait. Family shouldn't wait. She set down her wine glass. Does she know? About me? No. No one knows. Are you ashamed? What? No. I set down my own glass. I don't want to hear what everyone will say. The judgment. The jokes. What will they say? I looked at her. Really looked. That you're too old for me. That I have mommy issues. That you're taking advantage. That this is a midlife crisis. Yours or mine, depending who's talking. She flinched. Just slightly. But I saw it. That's what I'm afraid of too, she said quietly. That you'll wake up one day and realize they're right. That I'm selfish for wanting this. For wanting you. I moved closer. Took her hand. You're not selfish. You're brave. You gave up teaching me because it was the right thing. You waited 5 weeks when you could have broken the rules. That's not selfish. That's integrity. Brave would be admitting this publicly. What we're doing is still hiding. For now. Until what? She pulled her hand back. Until I'm old enough, it's not weird? That's not how aging works, sweetheart. The endearment landed like a punch, tender and painful. I don't care about the age difference, I said. You will. When I'm 60 and you're 42? When I'm 70 and you're still? I kissed her. Cut off the words. She resisted for half a second, then melted into it. Her hands in my hair, my arms around her waist. We ended up horizontal on the couch, tangled together, breathing hard. The city lights sparkled through the windows. Her apartment smelled like pasta and wine and that sandalwood perfume. Everything felt suspended, like we existed in a bubble separate from the real world. Then, her phone rang. She froze, pulled back. It's Lily. My daughter. I have to. She answered. Hi, honey. Yes, I'm good. Just having dinner. With someone. A friend. Actually, can we talk tomorrow? Yes. I'll call you. Love you. When she hung up, she said, I almost told her. About you. Why didn't you? Because I don't know what this is yet. And I can't explain something I don't understand. What don't you understand? She sat up. Ran hands through her hair. How this is supposed to work. If it's supposed to work. You're 29. Your whole life ahead. I'm 47 with a grown daughter and a failed marriage. What future does this have? Whatever future we build, that's romantic. It's not realistic. Then, let's be unrealistic together. She looked at me then. Really. Looked. Eyes wet. You say that now, but when your friends make jokes, when your family asks questions, when strangers look at us like, I'm your mother, then I'll tell them you're the woman I'm falling for. And if they have a problem with that, they can deal with it. It's not that simple. Why not? Because I have things to lose. My business reputation, my relationship with my daughter, and I don't? You think I'm not risking anything? What are you risking? You're young. If this doesn't work, you move on. Find someone age appropriate. No one judges the younger person in these relationships. That's not true, and you know it. People will say I'm using you, that I have issues, that I can't handle women my own age. I stood, started pacing, but I don't care. Because this us feels more real than anything I've felt in years. Silence, heavy, suffocating. I need time, she finally said, to figure out how to do this without losing everyone I care about, including me, especially you. We lasted another month. Stolen hours at diners far from town. Careful timing. No public outings. It was thrilling and exhausting in equal measure. Then Marcus saw us. He worked at my gym. Friendly guy who talked too much and knew everyone's business. And he saw Diana and me having coffee at that place we thought was safe. "Hey man," he said Monday morning at the gym. "Saw you this weekend. Who's the lady?" "She's hot. Little older. But hey, experience, right?" My blood turned to ice. "Just a friend." "Sure, friend." He winked, punched my shoulder. "Good for you, bro." He told 3 people by noon. By Wednesday, my coworker Brad cornered me in the break room. "Dude, Marcus said you're seeing an older woman. How old we talking?" "It's nothing." He misunderstood. "Because if you're into that, my aunt just got divorced. She's 52 but looks 40. "Brad, drop it." He raised his hands. Okay. Sensitive subject. Got it. But he didn't drop it. None of them did. The joke started. Locker room comments I pretended not to hear. Every laugh felt like a knife. "Friday night," Diana called. "We need to talk." I went to her apartment. She was pacing when I arrived. Agitated. "Lily's coming to visit," she said. "Next weekend. 3 days. She's bringing her boyfriend." "Okay. So I'll stay away." "It's not that simple." She asked about you. If I was seeing anyone? If I was happy? My stomach dropped. "What did you say?" I said yes. That it was new? That he was younger? Diana stopped pacing. Looked at me. I didn't tell her how much younger. She's going to ask. What do I say? The truth. That I'm dating someone 3 years older than her? Someone who just got his driver's license? The words stung. True, but they stung. "Is that how you see me?" I asked quietly. "Someone who can't even drive?" "No." God, no. "I'm sorry. That came out wrong." She sat on the couch, covered her face. "I'm terrified, David. Terrified she'll think I'm pathetic, desperate, having a crisis." I sat next to her, pulled her hands from her face. "Or she'll think you're happy. What if that's not enough? What if she stops talking to me? What if everyone does? Then you'll have me. And what if that's not enough? What if 6 months from now, then we'll deal with it 6 months from now. But right now, I choose you. Do you choose me?" Long silence. Then, "Yes. God help me, yes." 2 weeks later, Diana called, voice shaking. I told Lily. "About you. Everything." "When?" "Last night." She called to check in. I couldn't lie anymore. So I told her that I'd been seeing someone younger, that it was serious. What did she say? Diana laughed. Bitter. She asked if I was having a mental breakdown, if I needed therapy, if this was about Dad. She wiped her eyes. Then she asked if I was happy. I said yes, happiest I'd been in years. And she said, Diana's voice broke. She said, "Then I guess age is just a number. But Mom, if he hurts you, I'll kill him." I stared at her. She's okay with it? She's not thrilled, but she's trying. For me. Diana stepped closer. "I'm sorry. For pushing you away. For being scared. For choosing safety over you. You had every right to be scared," I said. "Maybe. But I didn't have the right to make you feel like you weren't worth fighting for. Because you are. You're worth everything." "This is still going to be hard," I said. "People are still going to judge. I know. Your family. My friends. Strangers. Everyone." She reached for my hand. "But I'd rather face judgment with you than safety without you." "What about the driving school? Your reputation?" I talked to my business partner. We're splitting the company. She's taking the executive clients. I'm keeping the school, going independent. If anyone has a problem with my personal life, they can take their business elsewhere. I looked at her, really looked. She'd risked everything. Her relationship with her daughter, her business, her comfort. For this? For us. We stopped hiding. Told my family. My mom lost her mind 3 dinners. One spectacular argument, where I told her I wasn't asking for permission, I was asking for respect. My sister loved Diana, called her the most interesting person you've ever dated. My dad was still processing, but trying. Christmas, Lily visited, brought her boyfriend. We all had dinner together. Lily pulled me aside in the kitchen. She's happy, really happy, first time since the divorce, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I plan to. Good. Because if you hurt her, you'll kill me, she mentioned. Lily smiled. I'm glad you're paying attention. She paused. For what it's worth, I was wrong about you. I thought you'd be some immature guy using my mom, but you look at her like she hung the moon. She did, I said. My moon, anyway. We weren't perfect. Diana still worried about the age gap. I still dealt with comments from strangers, the looks when we held hands, the assumptions when we told people how we met. We argued about whose place to stay at, whether she'd meet my college friends, how to handle holidays. But every night, we came back to each other. Every morning, we chose us. Sometimes I'd pick her up after work. She'd slide into my passenger seat, kick off her shoes and say, "Take me somewhere." And I would. Nowhere special. Just somewhere. Together. That first night, when she'd pulled over on that dark service road, I thought it was about learning to handle a car. Turned out, it was about learning to handle something more dangerous. Taking risks. Being vulnerable. Choosing the interesting path over the safe one. Diana taught me to drive. But she taught me something more important. How to live without playing it safe. How to love someone knowing it might hurt. How to be brave enough to let someone see all of you, the scared parts, the broken parts, the parts that don't fit society's neat little boxes. The age gap didn't matter. The judgment didn't matter. What mattered was this. When I was with her, I felt alive, seen, worth the risk. And that, I learned, is what love actually is. Not safety, not comfort, but the terrifying, exhilarating choice to say, you, I choose you, consequences and all, every single time.